And after 3 again, I want you to whoop and cheer and clap and go wild and crazy. 1, 2, 3, go! On the stage, the wonderful Micheal Becq!
Yeah, I'll be honest, when they said, do you want to do a Bright Club? I might have taken it too literally. It's £10 for a gas mask. Sorry, welding mask. Despite the suit trainer combo and slight Teessider accent, I'm actually educated. A joke that I feel a little bit guilty because me and Seymour are just exactly the same now. And I'm actually educated as a physicist. It was never really going to be English, really, was it? Especially since I spell physics with an F. And the work I do is I try to stop people from smuggling nuclear weapons between countries. Something which someone once said to me sounds a little bit James Bondy. And I'll be honest, I know the first thing that pops into most people's minds when I say physics is Daniel Craig. But it's not that James Bondy. It's even more exciting. You see, my computer is full of curious web searches for words like plutonium, weapons-grade uranium, and critical mass for nuclear weapons. So waterboarding's fun. And as well as dealing with the NSA hacking my phone, I deal a lot with radiation and radioactive material. And I find those words conjure up images of mushroom clouds, death, the Incredible Hulk, and glowing testicles. Incidentally, my computer now has web searches for how to spell testicles, so I was educated in the north. I find this sort of stigma of radiation quite funny because radiation is great. For one thing, unlike nasty things like chemicals or explosives or viruses, it wants to be found. It jumps up and shouts, "Look at me." The dangerous stuff really wants to be found. It's like, you, and you, definitely you, all of you, not you, and all of you, look at me! And the stuff that doesn't want to be found kind of sits in the corner like an angry teenage emo in tight jeans going, "Don't look at me." And we all know they're completely harmless unless there's enough of them to cause a riot about student fees. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, you've probably all heard the clicking of a Geiger counter before. That's just something radioactive telling you how much of an attention seeker it is. I use it a lot. The other great thing about radiation is it's really safe. It is. There's 4 very basic principles that if you stick to, you'll be fine. The first one most people know about, shielding. You cover your bits in lead, you'll probably be okay. It's a lot of testicle references, so I just learned to spell it. So. The other ones maybe aren't talked about so much, but are pretty logical. Distance, so get the hell out of there. Time, get the hell out of there quickly. And radiation dose, how much radiation you can receive. So for example, if you have one attention-seeking moron, says the person on stage, you'll probably be okay, at least hopefully you guys will be anyway. If you have a football stadium full of them, you might have an issue, and probably an episode of the only is Chelsea Shore on Ice. Now, by far my favourite example, real-life example of these 4 principles came out of Russia. So let me set the scene. Actually, no, let me first start with an apology. This next bit contains some swearing, and I don't really like swearing. I fucking love it. But it helps the story, and as I've pointed out, I'm Northern, so you should be used to it by now. So, Russia. In the middle of butthole nowhere, they found a radioactive source. It was so radioactive, it was melting a hole through the snow. I think shepherds were using it at night to keep warm, if shepherds are still a thing. I presume they are. This wasn't near Chernobyl here. This was hundreds of miles from anywhere in the middle of Siberia. How it got there, I have no idea, but clearly it couldn't be left there. It was worth way too much to North Korea. So, they couldn't fly down in a helicopter either, as there was, the pilots might get a dangerous dose of radiation. They couldn't carry enough fuel to get there and back. I mean, this is literally butthole nowhere here. So what they did in the end is they drove down in like a tank thing with some soldiers and some lead and some fuel. But when they got there, they discovered it was in some rocky terrain. They couldn't just drive up and get it. They were basically screwed. Until a brave physicist stepped up. Because everyone knows military special operations needs a physicist. James Bond. And he worked out that there were 20 soldiers. And he calculated that if each one of those 20 soldiers took one turn to run over to the source, pick it up, and run back as fast as possible in 2 minutes, then between all 20 of them, they could get it from where it was to the back of the tank, cover it in lead, and no one would get a dangerous dose. So the principles: distance, time, dose, and shielding. One of the soldiers pointed out that with the heroic physicist, there was actually 21 of them. But that courageous physicist said somebody needed to keep time. So, somewhere on the Tinterweb, there's actually a video of this. The bunch of soldiers lined up. The physicist gave them some grabbers to make it safe. Safety first, safety second. 1 metre grabber. The first soldier trumps up. The physicist goes, "Right, Kevin." Sorry, it's Russia. Kevin Ofsky. On my first whistle, I want you to run, get the source, come back. On my second whistle. Anyone, gladiators? I want you to drop the bloody thing and get the hell out of there quickly. And then your mate Brian, Slav, is going to go do the same thing. So Kevin Ofsky lines up, he mutters something under his breath. I think he might have been a sailor because it ended in anchor. And multiple props, ridiculous. Little God. And he was off. He's bounding through the snow, going over rocks, goes through a stream. He battles away the giant mutant shepherds and the glowing testicles, all to the sound of shit, 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 shit. And for some reason in my head, the Benny Hill soundtrack. He picks up the radioactive source, conveniently represented here by this green bottle of Mountain Dew. Other shit American drinks are available. He turns around, he skips through the snow, goes through the stream, over the rock, all to the sound of shit. The whistle goes again. He throws it away. Possibly further than when it started. And he gets out of there, and Brian's Slav is off. And this goes backwards and forwards, soldier to soldier, until they get the source from where it was to the tank, cover it in lead, drive off into the sunset, later selling it on eBay to Iranians. And the point of this is that if it wasn't for the actions of that brave physicist, it would have all been differently. Because every single one of those soldiers was perfectly fine. In fact, even to this day, each one of them is still glowing strong. It's painful for me to say this to you to hear. Except you paid, so I win. So, what have we learned today, peoples? Well, hopefully we've learned that radiation is great. Physicists are fearless. It's quite difficult for me to say physicists are fearless. And Russia is a great place to pick up red, hot radiation. Thank you.